Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir Selling Gods video. In today's video, I'm going to show you the one team that I used for the Universe Expedition to beat absolutely every single stage. Now, even if we're talking about the normal stages or the challenge mode, I used the same team to beat all of it. And it's a pretty relatable-ish team, I guess, because you know what? The game has been so much more generous. You might have most of these ones. But I guess the most important thing is I have no exclusive legendary in this team, right? None of the premium ones and the 12 ones, not just the ones with exclusive artifacts, but none of the premium legendaries. And I still managed to beat every single one of these. So let me show you the team that I'm talking about. So the first thing that's really important to keep in mind is that obviously you want to make sure you do the normal mode and put a team in every single one of these, right? Because these are going to be buffs that will help you a lot for all of the challenges, right? All of these buffs is what you would get for the sake of the normal mode and also for the sake of the challenge mode. Now, the team that I'm going to show you and what I can do is, just based doing the damage, then obviously the achievements, doing everything else. However, my team's not going to be able to, I'm not going to show you rankings because it's a more relatable team and I'm not going to be able to compete with Krakens anyway. You only rank top 30 and the rewards are nothing too obscene, right? Like if you miss on 5,000 Medal of Glory, are you really going to, break your game? Not really. You shouldn't care. You should just care about finishing all of it, then go ahead and grabbing all the rewards and then just keep buying the gold and that's about it, right? It's not the most exciting. It's kind of like boring, I guess. Like every single day, I'm curious, like after you do that day, I hope this is the first. Yeah, actually, no, this is the same thing, right? I beat it yesterday and that's it. There's nothing else to do. But the same team, like I mentioned, that I used for all of these ones, and I think arguably one of the hardest ones was stage 3. Over here, I think I had one of my people die, but I pretty much use the same team, even though you have like this, right? You have the Harpy, which you should just bring your Harpy team, and then at the end you have the Grave of Curse boss. You can just bring your Grave of Curse boss, but all of these levels had the same team for me, and it was a permafrost team, right? So it's a team consisting of, it's not that one, it was actually called my Fey Necrosis. So I haven't even updated their gear, as you can see. Like, I have what's it called, the negative rune. That's an epic one only, but this was pretty much the team that I used, right? It was that one that kind of brings control, brings damage, brings everything that you need. So the team uses Rippercast, Thorin. Honestly, I'm not sure if like you mandatory need Rippercast. You might be able to just use, instead of Rippercast, just bring Urion. It should work just fine. Then I'm using Irzelas as an enabler for Premsa. Premsa as the main damage dealer. And then I'm using Zarlos as the damage dealer. Witch's Remains plus some healing plus Holy Hunter set to control. And obviously, like I said, Thorin for the healing. So this team actually managed to get me through all of this one. I didn't even put timings. I let them go full YOLO and it worked just fine because this team has a good, let me see if I can just beat this stage again or if it's gonna lose this time. But you know what, even if you lose, just run it again. But this team is a good combination of damage. It's a good combination of survivability, good combination of support, healing. It's a little bit of everything that you need, right? And you can always just go ahead and maybe swap some stuff. It would work, for example, maybe better if instead of somebody like Zarloth, I brought in, what's her name, Felocia, right? Because I have Felocia. I could have done that, bring Felocia in instead of Zarloth, put the Witch's Remains on my Rippercast, and I would have still been good to go. But as you can see, this one worked just fine. It's just a bit tricky, right? Because they do bring some control, they bring the taunts, they bring healing, it kind of looks difficult. However, you can see that I'm still managed to beat it. This time my Zarlos survived, right? Last time he died, but I still managed to finish it. However, you saw it was pretty easy. Didn't take me too long to beat this. And, I got myself all of the rewards and that's about it. Now, I guess let me quickly go over and show you the builds that are on all of these people, because you might want to see, what to build, what to use on them and all of that. I'm going to start as always with the talents. You're going to see Rippercast the top side, Prensa top one, Thorin middle side, Irzelas bottom one, and then Zarloth for the middle one as well. Now let's look at the builds. So Zarloth is going to be in the Witch's Remains, like I mentioned, having enough accuracy to land his stuff. Plus, he's also going to be wearing a Holy Hunter set, because you know what, this one gives him a 20% chance to stun every time he does the hits. Like these 5 hits right over the 5 seconds gives him a chance to stun. Same thing over here during this AoE hit. So it's kind of like the ideal set on him. just to focus like, you know, some accuracy and then attack as much as possible, because he heals based off of attack on his ultimate. Then if you look at Irzelas, he's, like I mentioned, more of an enabler for my, what's her name? More of an enabler for my Premsa. He's gonna be the one that is gonna be wearing a Puppeteer's Inspiration, considering we have a full Necrosis team. Having Puppeteer is gonna be helpful, as it's gonna allow all of our team to go on an 18-second recharge time, right? The ultimate's gonna be happening more often, so he's full on attack, right? That's all I focus. You can see attack, attack, attack. But I also gave him down Organ Pipe to increase the damage that Premsa does, and also damage plus healing that Zorloth does. So it's kind of like, that's the way that I wanted to focus it. And again, you can see that, you know, I didn't even update the runes. Like, I can make this even better, but I guess it's, you know, it's maybe more relatable, as you might not have these specific ones or whatnot, but you might be able to swap them around and get some better gear. The next one's going to be Thorin. Thorin's obviously going to be Solar King's Horn, then in a Ancestral Protection with as much Enlightenment and HP as I can, because it helps with his healing. Then that's about it, right? Like, obviously this one could have been an Enlightenment. I definitely have a negative one, right? Sorry, a legendary one that I could use, but you know what? For now, this worked just fine. There was no point for me to change it. Like, look at this. This would have been ideal. Enlightenment with triple skill haste would have been a perfect piece. However, this one worked just fine. And again, you don't necessarily need all of the legendary artifacts that I'm showing. You don't need Solar King's Horn because you do enough damage. You don't need to have the Organ Pipe. You can give him, for example, this one, right? And just make him do some damage and you're going to be just fine. Same thing for Premsa. You're not going to necessarily need a Queen's Fan. You can just go with the epic artifact, Vile Ink, that again boosted derivative damage, because Premsa's most damage comes from this passive that she triggers when she does the ultimate, and the fact that, you know, Irzelas brings a ton of summons. That's how you're gonna do most of the damage, right? So definitely keep that in mind. But let's go over to the next build. So that was Thorin. Now if you look at Rippercast, again, Rippercast is gonna have the Rift Hourglass, because you saw in my team I put Witch's Remains on Zorloth, but you can put Witch's Remains on Rippercast and then Zorloth, just give him anything else if you wanna do it that way. And then again, really important, you wanna give Holy Hunter Scent for Rippercast as well, because he's gonna be doing a ton of stuns, right? He's gonna be doing an AoE hit over here, triple hit AoE on this one in a big range. So it's kind of like the ideal set for Rippercast for the sake of these challenges for the Universe Expedition or Exploration, whatever it's called. And at the same time, you would have the same build for the Fey Meander, right? Because that's what you see. This team is my Necrosis versus Fey team. And that's the one that I used. I kind of like gave him crit rate on this one just so he does a little bit of damage. But you know what? If he dies for you, just make him tanky, right? He's not going to do a ton of damage. So just focus that survivability. And then if we're looking at Premsa, because obviously I have the Queen's Fan, which boosts the derivative damage based on how far she is away. I obviously gave her this one, which is kind of like, you know, the best. But like I mentioned, you don't need it. You can just go ahead and get this one. Because I think the effect, maximum effect is the same, right? 35% more derivative damage. And then this one says bonus damage based on distance up to 5 tiles 35. So it's honestly, it's kind of the same, right? It's kind of the same. Maybe just this one gives you a little bit more attack based on the fact that it's mythic, right? This one gives you 60%, and then the Violin gives you 45. So it's not a massive difference. If you don't have the fan, just put the Vile Ink and you're good to go. And then obviously on her, like I mentioned, I focus mostly Enlightenment, attack percent with Enlightenment, then more Enlightenment, and then more Enlightenment. You know, again, crit damage over here, I didn't swap it again. It's old build, but you would go Enlightenment and attack. And that's all that you need, right? She's full Enlightenment, full attack, and she's going to be blasting through those waves, as you noticed that she did. And apart from that, you know, I do have her and Rippercast and Thorin like Inspire 1, but you don't need it, right? It's just 8% extra stats. You don't get that much, you know, that much of a difference. So, you know, it's not mandatory. You can do it without them. And again, replacements, instead of Rippercast, you can bring Yurion and then keep Witch's Remains on Zorloth. If you don't have Irzelas, which I know a lot of people say they don't have Irzelas, just look at who's the next best Necrosis enabler for you. It could be Ladelia, that brings, you know, just that one demon. It could be Isitarian. He brings a ton of survivability. Like if you use Isitarian, for example, maybe you could go Isitarian, or no, you could go Ladelia, you could go Centralia, Premsa, Yurion, and then Thorin, and then you would put on Ladelia, or whenever she does this ultimate, you can give her Witch's Remains or something like that. But you know what? You even have the Frost teams. You can bring a Frost team, and I guarantee a Frost team with, you know, Rava, with Vedemir, with Voresh, it should work just fine. With the two core supports of Thorin and Yurion as free-to-play, you should be able to do this. But Let me know in the comments down below if you tested what I said and it worked for you, because I'm really curious. As if people struggle, I might just go ahead and try and beat all of the stages again just by getting only free to obtain heroes without any pulled legendaries, just free to obtain heroes and epics, and try and see if I can beat all of the challenges to share with you guys and help you beat it. But we're gonna leave it at this for today. Thank you for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next. Also, keep an eye out on that code over there. There should be a new creator binding session starting where, you know, you can get some more free stuff and you can support me as a creator. So always keep in mind code OddOne, use it when you can. But yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.